William, go ahead and you can.
Namo Shakyamuni Buddha, Namo Shakyamuni Buddha, Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million eons is difficult to encounter. Now that I have come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning.
Okay, very good. So last time we learned quite a bit. Okay, I think we come to the point here. I think last time you missed one of the class that we've been to here. We're talking about the exposition to wrap the significance of this precious human life, right? So we are free from this eight thing here, freedom from being born at hell, being born at a hungry ghost, free them from being born at animal. This is the three evil world, right? It's really terrible. We don't want to be in there. And last time I shared with Tammy about this, we learned one of the sutra that what you call the repentant, one of the repentant sutra. I have to translate it in from Vietnamese to English, but we will learn more when we go along with this. And we also talk about why born at the long-lived God. It's not a good thing. Do you know why, William?
Yes, because they don't experience any significant suffering. So it's very easy for them to simply enjoy their life and the pleasures that go along with it without ever thinking about practicing the Dharma.
So when you enjoy life, what does that mean? It means that we burn our blessing, right? We burn our blessing very quickly. And also free and being born and remain in a country where no religion, right? This is important. Basically, we do not have a chance to learn Buddhism, and free being born and remain in a country where there is no Buddha Dhamma. Even though we do not have, we do not born in the time of the Buddha. We born before or after. It's one of the eight we call the eight disaster. But well, now we look at but if the Buddha Dhamma is still in the world, that is a good thing. Even though we were born into this evil world, right? But we still be able to learn the Buddha Dhamma. That is a good thing, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah, this is important. I think very important. We learn about this thing, and we are also learn about free being born and remaining with the mental and physical disability. Yeah, that we are lucky we don't have that problem. That's a good thing, and also free from holding the wrong view, denying the Dhamma, so that this belief in karmic law of cause and effect, the continuity of consciousness, and so forth. The continuous consciousness, it means the Alaya consciousness. And remember, the difference between, do you know the difference between the Theravada and the Mahayana in the consciousness, the principle of consciousness?
Yes, in the Mahayana, there are 8 consciousnesses that are described total. In the Theravada, there are 6.
Okay, that's good. That's right. So, but the mana and the alaya consciousness is the most important because that gives you the whole picture of everything. Okay. Hi, Samuel.
Say hi.
Hi.
I want to see your face. Oh, that beautiful face. Hi, God. Okay. Hi. Okay. All right. So that's good, right? So and we learn about the 12 link. And remember, in the 12 link, the fundamental principle in the 12 link. What is the fundamental principle in the 12 link? The foundation principle. You remember?
No, interdependence is essential to them, but it's kind of showing the no self. It's showing the links that describe the appearance of a self and how that arises.
You remember what is the definition of the dependent origination?
Definition of it was that, this comes into being because of that,
Yeah.
and that becomes into being because of something else.
Right.
So it's that things are ultimately, all things are dependent upon each other for coming into being. So nothing can really be said to be separate.
Okay. So the dependent origination means dependent arising, dependent conditional. You remember that? Okay. Due to the previous, this arise. Due to the previous, this give the condition for this one to arise. That's what it means, right? That is the fundamental principle for both Theravada and Mahayana. And this is the most basic fundamental concept, principle in Buddhism, and the most important one. So all phenomena in the universe, it go by this principle. Nothing happen by itself. Everything has to be interdependent. So it's important. Therefore, the whole purpose of teaching the 12 link dependent on nation, do you know what is the purpose of teaching that?
I think it's to understand the appearance of, like, well, why we're here, like what causes led to us being here in the future, what causes perpetuate us being here. So it's in service to stopping suffering through understanding the causes of suffering, and it helps us understand the arising of a sense of self that's based off of clinging to pleasant, will you stop please? Pleasant sensations and avoiding non-pleasant ones, and then understanding how that arising of self leads to the cycle of birth and death.
Yeah, that's true. That is one. And the second one is, remember when the Buddha defined the definition of the dependent origination, it means that dependent arising, dependent conditional. It means that the Buddha want to remember there are three things, right? Talk about God will, right? The first one. And the second one is no thing happen without cause. Remember? The third one is thing happened due to the past, or thing happened. I remember. Okay, let me quickly. I think and that's why it's important. If we do not understand, we do not believe in the law of cause and effect, and that's why we are. This is the wrong view, right? If we disbelieve, and this, I want to show you this. I want to make sure that we just quickly review a little bit, not too much. I'm going to teach the youth about this concept, but I don't know they be able to understand or not. but I'm afraid. Okay. This one right here, the the doctrine of dependent on nation, right? It basically the Buddha reject the God as the creator. Okay, why? Because self-doing, self-retribution, right? So you remember this, William? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And and due to that, the Buddha also talk about the impermanent and no self. We already understand this thing, and this thing here down here. Usually, what we believe, what ordinary people believe it in the wrong view is, well, whatever they do, they claim on the past, on their past life action, right? So that's not good. So action from the previous life, that is not a good thing. And also, whatever they do, they say that that is the will of God. Remember, on this thing here, and the Buddha said that if you say this is due to the previous past life or due to the will of God, and whatever you do, if you commit, if you kill someone, you commit killing, you commit stealing, you commit all the bad deeds. Then you just say that that is the will of God, or that is the due to the past life action, right? And the people who have that kind of mindset, they have no motivation to do the good thing. Does that make sense? So that's why this teaching is so important. And this teaching is it represents for the law of cause and effect. This is important. Okay, so that's why the Buddha said that the one who sees the dependent on a nation is see the Dharma. The one who sees the Dharma is see the Buddha. It's very profound, very profound. Okay. 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 Anyway, I want to and this one time Ananda, right? Well, just briefly, William, go ahead and read this part right here, and we will stop right here. All right, I will come back to.
One time, Ananda, his attendant, told the Buddha that dependent arising appeared obvious. The Buddha answered, "Do not speak in this way. This dependent arising is deep in truth, and it's deep in its appearance. It is through not understanding, through not penetrating this Dhamma of dependent arising, that this generation of living beings has come entangled like a matted ball of thread, become like grass and rushes, unable to pass beyond the woeful states of existence and samsara, the cycle of existence."
So, what do you think?
Well, you're right. If it was totally obvious, then not so many of us would be stuck in samsara. So I think the Buddha's response makes sense that perhaps, you know, in this setting at this time, Ananda was understanding it at a certain level, and there is a deeper way to understand it, where that deeper meaning is not obvious.
Tammy, what do you think about this this part right here? Tammy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, but I'm in an argument right now. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The kids just walked in the door.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. So basically, this one right here, whenever we encounter the negative affinity, right? The first thing we do, we react. We don't act. We react. Why was that? Because we are ignorant about the dependent on nation. Does that make sense to you, William?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So if we really do understand this concept clearly, and doesn't matter if we live in the difficult situation, or in the negative affinity, we will never we wouldn't react, because everything happened for a reason. And we easily accept it, and we only move forward in the positive way. The only thing we can do is try our best to amend, to transform the negative. How do we do that? We have to be patient. Patience is the most powerful practice to transform the negative affinity into positive. Nothing else can do that. And patience represents the loving kindness and compassion. If the one truly understands this concept, he easily accepts everything and move forward. And when we do not understand, we will react. We don't act. Okay. All right, that's good. Let me move back. Okay, let me see. Okay, I think we are. This is the one. Okay, we are good. So now we go ahead and start from here today. All right. I think tell me. Okay, William. I think it. Tell me whenever you're ready. You let me know. Okay, I will ask William continue on.
The 10 endowments are of two types: the 5 personal and the 5 circumstantial endowments. The 5 personal endowments are being born human, being born and remaining in a country where Dharma is flourishing, a so-called central land, being born and remaining with complete powers free from mental and physical disability, not having committed any of the 5 actions of immediate retribution. These are killing one's mother, killing one's father, killing an arhat, shedding the blood of a Buddha with harmful intention, and causing division within a spiritual community. Having faith in the 3 sets of Buddha's teachings, the Triptaka, and the Buddha's teachings as a whole. The 5 circumstantial endowments are taking a human rebirth in a world where the Buddha has appeared, taking human rebirth in a world where the Buddha has taught Dharma, taking human rebirth in a world where pure Dharma is still being taught, taking human rebirth in a world where there are people practicing pure Dharma, taking human rebirth in a world where there are benefactors and sponsors for Dharma practitioners. These 10 states are called endowments because they complete the conditions conducive to the practice of Dharma. It is because of our accumulated virtuous actions that we have now attained this precious human life endowed with the 18 above characteristics. Therefore, now is the time to rejoice at our extraordinary good.
Okay. Okay, stop right there. Okay. So what do you think?
Yeah, to me, it's kind of like an analogy, and you'll understand this one, Tay. I think Tammy will too. I'm not sure who else is on the line. But take as your background in computer programming, like Bitcoin mining. There's a proof of work. In order to mine a Bitcoin, a computer has to run an algorithm for a certain amount of time. And then it can, it produces that unique Bitcoin. And the existence of that Bitcoin is evidence of that work. So that it's like our current situation is evidence of all of this work of previous lives, of practice, of effort, and effort and practice that we've put in that has paid fruits. And the enshrining of these awarenesses of being endowed with these freedoms is meant to help us be grateful and to feel like, okay, well, for lives we can't even remember, we've put in work to lead to be able to have these freedoms in this life. Then we should really apply ourselves to use these freedoms to their fullest, so that we don't find ourselves in the future not having them.
Okay, that's good. That means you mean it's we are here due to our good karma, right? Due to our good karma. And remember, when we be born, right? Can we choose our destination? What do you think?
Probably not.
Yeah, the power of the karma will control us. But the good thing here, if we born in this situation, that means we have a very good karma, that we should be happy with it. And we have in the past, like you said, we put so much time and power, energy into to create such a good deed. Now we be able to have all this criteria, right? All this quality. It's not easy. And just like you said, that why should we, if we already have all this quality, why should we waste our time to enjoy life with this precious human life, right? So just like Putin, right? He killing people just like an animal. That's really crazy. That's really scary. And remember, in this world right here, this is what the Buddha called the five tupidi, right? Tupidi evil. The five tupidi world. That means the evil world. It's not a good world. But we still be able to manage and practice the Dharma. It's not easy. Not easy at all. And we should be proud of ourselves that we be able to have this kind of blessing that we be able to do it. That's a good thing. Yeah, I think it's yeah, that's really good thing. So that is a good fortune. We should enjoy our good fortune. Oh, Tammy. So yeah, everything okay with you, Tammy?
Yes, I moved away. I'm good.
Okay, that's good. So remember, enjoy every moment. Okay, all right, go ahead. And what is the purpose? Go ahead, please.
What is the purpose of this precious human life, and why is it so valuable to us? The purpose and value of such an existence lie in the opportunity it affords us to accomplish one of three outstanding aims. The greatest goal now available to us is the attainment of enlightenment, the complete and perfect awakening of a Buddha. The intermediate goal is the attainment of personal liberation from samsara, the vicious cycle of birth and death fraught from suffering and dissatisfaction, while the smallest goal is to win rebirth as a god or as a human being. In general, we remain completely unaware of the value of our present situation. In particular, we are blind to the precious opportunity we now have to attain one of these three goals. Instead, we waste our time and squander this precious opportunity by running after the temporary pleasures of this life. If we were to recognize fully the value and potential of this precious human life, we would certainly take advantage of it by studying Dharma and seeking one of the three goals. As Santadeva says, if no meaning is derived from this precious rebirth now, how can we ever hope to come across it again in the future? There's a story that illustrates the importance of taking full advantage of our precious human life. In a remote village in Tibet, there lived a man who had no legs. One day, as he was making his slow, labored way across the countryside with the aid of crutches, he accidentally fell over the edge of a cliff. As luck would have it, he landed on the back of a wild horse grazing below. The horse was so startled that he galloped off with the man holding on for dear life. Quite a long time passed, and to the wonderment of the other villagers, the man showed no signs of tiring of his unusual mount. Why don't you get off the horse? They shouted to him as he raced by. Not on your life, he shouted back. to them, "This is my first time in my life I've ever been on horseback. When can a legless man like me ever hope for such an opportunity again? I'm going to take full advantage of it while I can." And off he went, clutching on the back of the wild horse. Just as the man in this storybook took advantage of his unusual luck, so should we take full advantage of our present, fully endowed human life by training our mind in the practice of Dharma.
What do you think?
I think it's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's a great analogy of taking full advantage of every opportunity that you're provided in this life. If you're provided wonderful opportunities, take advantage of them, because you never know when you're going to be blessed with them again.
So yeah, that's good. And what we going to learn in this in this book right here, that we will learn about how to develop the Bodhicitta, and we will learn how to practice that kind of Bodhicitta, the most precious thing that we will be able to learn and how to do it. And with the Bodhicitta, and we know how to give the practice, and you know what? You will enhance our human life in the beautiful way. I think in from the lower into the higher, right? So that is important. Otherwise, yes, we can. Other people can do what they do. They can do a lot of good deeds, right? That's a good thing. So they can generate their blessing, their marriage, right? So let me ask you here: if we be able to, let's say that there is a person who love to do good deed to help other people, using money and the labor that he put in, right? And he willing to do and help anyone who ever needed. He willing to give whatever they needed, right? That's a good thing. Compared to the one who practice the Bodhicitta in the way that for the loving kindness, because the Bodhicitta, that means it to benefit the living being, it due to the motivation of the loving kindness and compassion. Remember that. So in order, let's say that when we live in a family, right, within our family, everyone that were we come across, right, due to our affinity we have with them in the past. Affinity we do have near and far, positive and negative. Near, that means our loved one, our relative, right? Far, that means it's our friend that we see one in a while. We call far. You understand so far, right? And doesn't matter it's near or far, they both have positive and negative affinity. Let's say that when we live in the family, parent and children, sometimes we have a good time, right? Good relationship, and sometimes we have a very tough time, right? We fight. The same thing with the husband and wife. The same thing with the sibling. So when we encounter the negative affinity, usually what we do is we react. We don't act. We react by emotion, right? And we damage even further. And that's not good. So if we understand the concept of the principle of the Bodhicitta, later on we learn in this teaching here, and we know how to use it to transform the negative affinity into positive, it could take months, years, but the time is not important. But the most important is we know what we are doing. That is the most important about. Time is, if we do things always concerned about the time, we cannot do it. But we care less about time. We just concerned about what we are doing. That's all you need to do. then all we need to do is the whole idea of practice Buddhism is to transform the negative affinity into positive. This is the way that we want to practice. This is represent for the love and kindness and compassion. If the person who be able to do this, only one incident, right? Let's say only one incident, compared to the one who always do good deed, you think who is better? William, you understand my question?
Yes, and I intellectually understand the answer, which would be the person who's transforming the affinity from a negative affinity to a positive affinity. And it makes sense, because in doing that, we already mentioned the need for practicing patience, but then also generosity is very necessary, and wisdom is part of that as well. So discipline is part of that. So I think, because in that, if one is blessed with material goods, it's relatively easy to give those to people who need them. But it's harder to endure a negative affinity and actually remain calm and generous and open to transform it. So that's it requires like the development of virtues, more than generosity alone.
Okay. Tell me, what do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me, what do you think?
So bringing forth the bodhicitta is always going to be more valuable than any kind of type of giving that could be given. I mean, the sutra goes on and on and on about no matter the quantity or the amount or what's given, it's never more valuable than the bringing forth of the bodhicitta. Just because I think the concept is really that once you bring it forth, there's no going backwards. So once it's developed, it's always developed. So that's only going to lead to one being generous and giving anyways. But it's very, very broken out that bringing nothing is more valuable than bringing forth the bodhicitta.
All right. So let's say that, you bring up a very good point. So when we let's say that we are very generosity, right? We give out whoever come to us. We generate the blessing. It means that it's the same thing that when we deposit, right? When we do the good deed, it's like we deposit the money into the bank. But when we enjoy the blessing, we withdraw from the bank. And if we keep withdrawing, eventually it's gone, right? But what happened is, let's say that we have a lot of blessing, right? From our good deeds. But what happened is when we get angry, you know what? Just like Putin, right? He have a lot of blessing in the past. He pray a lot of good deeds. Now he be able to do this, to have this kind of to become the president is not easy. But you know what? Because due to his arrogant ego, right? And he become angry, and he quickly burn all his blessing. You see, when we get angry, right? All the forest of the blessing is burned very quick. But if we practice the bodhicitta in the way that transfer the love and kindness to the patient, this is the inner, this is the virtue. And the virtue comes with us, and we spend it, it never ends. But the blessing we generate from the material, it will be end. But the virtue you spend, it never ends. Because it's inner, it's not outer. Does it make sense to you, William?
Yes, Tay.
Good, that's important. So now we understand the precious human life and how we take advantage of this human life to do the good deed in terms of bodhicitta. That's the most important of all. This is important. So we are very fortunate to learn this thing here. So and just like in here, they give a very good analogy, right? The no leg man, he very lucky that he fall on the horse and he be able to hold on it and he enjoy the ride. He enjoyed the ride. That's incredible. That's good. Okay. All right. William, go ahead and you start from here. Yeah. Read the title too. Read the thing one.
Chapter 1, The Excellence and Benefits of Bodhicitta, an explanation of the benefits of bodhicitta. As indicated before, the supreme method for making this rare and precious human rebirth meaningful is to use it as a vehicle for attaining the most perfect and complete enlightenment. To work for any lesser goal is to throw away this unique opportunity. Since the attainment of enlightenment depends upon first developing the mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, the motivation to achieve full enlightenment in order to be most effective in helping others out of their suffering. Shantideva encourages us to develop bodhicitta and describes its many advantages. These are divided into the following 10 outstanding benefits. 1, the conquest of all great evils. 2, the attainment of the most sublime happiness. 3, wish fulfillment. 4, bodhicitta carries with it a special name and meaning. 5, transformation of the inferior into the supreme. 6, the value of the precious bodhicitta so difficult to find. 7, the inexhaustible and increasing fruits of bodhicitta. 8, the power of protection from great fear. 9, the swift and easy destruction of great evil. 10, scriptural citations of the benefits of bodhicitta.
Okay, so what do you think?
Yeah, so here it's contextualizing again our life in a sense that it's an opportunity to attain one of these 3 goals. And if we're going to try to attain one, why not try to attain the highest goal? Because we have this precious opportunity. And if we're to attain that highest goal, well, then we need to start by having the right intention. And bodhicitta is the mind that has the correct intention to lead to enlightenment. And that there are all of these additional benefits beyond leading to enlightenment that bodhicitta gives. And then it's, the list of all of these different benefits.
Right. In the previous one, it said that there are 3 different goals, right? The greatest goal is to become a Buddha, right? The second goal is to liberate from the samsara, that means the death and rebirth cycle. The third one is to be able to reborn into the rebirth, to reborn into the good realm, right? So I think it's most of the religion they teach us to become a good person, good person. That means that is the first, the smallest goal right there, right? So they can be able to rebirth into the good realm. That's a good thing. But in the Buddhism, right, the Mahayana, it gives us the very precious teaching, the Bodhicitta. And this is where we start working on the highest goal that you just said, right? So if we don't initiate the Bodhicitta, then that means there's no way for us to working on the Bodhisattva way, right? And there ain't no Buddhahood. We have to start somewhere, but in order to start somewhere, we have to know how to start. It's important, right? So lucky that we learn this thing here, and we know which one is important, and we know how to start it. That's a good thing. Interesting, very interesting. Tammy, go ahead. Yeah. Tammy, are you there?
I can't read right now.
Oh, you cannot read it now? Oh, okay. All right, William, go ahead and you read the ring one first.
Okay. The conquest of all great evils. Just as a flash of lightning on a dark, cloudy night for an instant brightly illuminates all, likewise in this world, through the might of Buddha, a wholesome thought rarely and briefly appears. Hence, virtue is perpetually feeble. The great strength of evil is extremely intense. And except for a fully awakened mind, by what other virtue will it be overcome?
What do you think about this verse?
Yeah, that our mundane thinking, just without contemplating the Dharma, without being mindful of the Dharma, but just our sort of, well, I'll speak for myself, like my self-interested thinking definitely is like, in easy circumstances, it's easy to be generous and kind and loving, but in circumstances where there's enduring something that's unpleasant, then I find my mind does tend more towards like struggling with that I have to apply something, I have to apply a teaching to free myself from it, and it's not always easy. So I think this is just a good description of what we see in the world, that it's war is not all that uncommon, crime is not all that uncommon, greed, hatred, all of these things are really just something that we accept as a part of life. And that really someone being very virtuous, someone sacrificing themselves, that's the stuff of legends. That stands out when someone, like, to help someone else gives up their own share, is rare, and people tend to praise it and look up to it.
Yeah, we just like you just said that we live in the world. A lot of chaos happen right now, right? So war, crime. Right now, we see that shooting in the school is quite very often, and that's scary, very scary. And you know what? The lawmaker, that means the Congress, and the senator, that means the House, the both House. Whenever they talk about whenever the gun violence, they don't want to talk about gun control. Why would that? Because gun association, they are the one who copy them. That is scary, and they know it. It's wrong, but anyway they endorse. They endorse those wrongdoing anyway, because for their own benefit. You see that? That's crazy. That's really crazy. And how could that the machine gun, right? It's the weapon for the wartime. Why should we allow to use for the civilian? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And how should you say that? We want to protect our Second Amendment. Yes, we respect the Second Amendment, but this doesn't mean that we allow the weapon from the war zone into the civilian use. That's not a good thing. No, that is not how you protect your Second Amendment. Right? That's crazy. But you know what? They scared to talk about this. Against the gun association. They are very selfish. Very selfish. And what does that mean? We live in the darkness, right? Cloudy night and darkness. And with the, let's say that when we encounter the negative affinity, and our mind easily triggered by angry, right? At the moment we get angry, we be able to aware of our own anger. Then we know how to manage it through the Buddha teaching, just like the flashing of the lightning on the dark and cloudy night. With the mighty of Buddha, it very rarely appear, right? It very rarely appear. But when it appear, hopefully the great strength of evil, even though it's very extremely intense, we be able to calm our mind to the might of the Buddha. That means the Buddha teaching. Does it make sense? This is important. But anyway, that's very sad. Whenever we hear the bad news like that, what can we do? We cannot do to protect our children. That's very terrible. If you know what, only time if their children is the victim, and maybe at that time they change their mind. If their children, their loved one is not the victim, they care less about other people. Well, what can we do? Okay, we can stop right here and we do the mantra. Maybe you want to do the mantra? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's we haven't done that for a while, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay, let me see. Hold on. Go ahead, William. Yeah.
May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.
Okay, thank you. Let me